Okay, this will explain Lab 8. Lab 8 is strictly an online simulation using two programs from the PhET website, University of Colorado. And I will demonstrate briefly what we're doing here. So we're going to be looking at bringing up the simulation. And here's the handout you're going to be using for this. All right, so the first part will be dealing with field around a bar magnet. And so what we're going to do is bring up this simulation. And if we look at it, select electromagnets. We come on here and we select, we're going to select electromagnet. The default one is this. So we're going to select electromagnet, which brings this up. We reset it. Show the field. We will leave this right here. So I have the field in Gauss. And what we're going to do is by varying the voltage with the slider up here, and by varying the number of turns, the default is 4, so we'll change it to 3, 2, and 1. So we'll start 4, and we'll have the voltage at 10 volts, 5 volts, and 2 volts. And then you'll do is enter the answer for, that's the next part, for the field. Again, just leaving this meter right where it is when you first click on this option, show field meter. So this will be the field measuring in Gauss, and we're just going to use the top one, a B. All right, so that's all we're doing there. You can also sketch what the magnetic field looks like around a bar magnet, noticing how it looks like a bar magnet. If you go back to bar magnet, we're not going to be doing it, but if you look at that, you can see how the field changes, and the red north changes its direction and forms loops that way. All right, so that's the first part of the lab. All right, I'll just get rid of that. Second part, and you'll enter the answers for there. Second part deals with what we call the Faraday effect, and this will be what happens when we change using that. So we're going to bring up the Faraday Lab, which if you click on here, Simulation Faraday, which is right there on the lab handout. All right, again, the original one is this, and we're going to do, if you look in the simulation, it says select pickup coil. So it starts with this as a default. When you click on the lab, you're going to select pickup coil, and what you're going to do is then with the magnet inside is the bulb lid. All right, so we just put the magnet inside and just leave it there, and you can see what happens there. All right, then what we're going to do is vary each of the following, describe the effect. So you're going to vary the strength of the magnet, rate of movement of the magnet, number of loops, and area of coil. And this can all change here. Strength of magnet can go from 0 up to 100. You can select the loop area as large or small by a %, and you can increase the number of turns from 1 to 3. All right, and what you want to do is by varying is how bright does this get out here, right? I mean, it's kind of you can have just what the lines look like. When the lines look really big, right? So that's what you're going to be answering here as far as, these are all kind of qualitative type questions, all right? So just describe for each of these types of movement what happens. Next part then will be select generator. You go to generator, which is the last one. And what you have here is, let's just start with the way it was at the beginning. All right, so this is the default. This is what you was when you first pick it up. And what you're going to do, you can change the RPM by the amount of water dripping. All right, so you can go all the way up to 100 RPMs, all the way down to 0 if you haven't stopped. You can change the number of loops. You can change the strength of the magnet. So we're going to leave the magnet strength at 75% and the loop area at 50%. So we're going to just leave it at that because that's what the question, it says, adjust the magnet strength to 75%, area to 50. And what you're going to do is, using a scale, this scale here, where each major line is 1, 2, 3, 4, and approximately for 15 RPM, 1, 2, 3, 30 RPM, what's the approximate voltage? And the voltage will be show meter. Show field meter, we'll click on that. Oops, that's the wrong one. So we're going to leave that there. And then what we're going to do is you will turn on get it to 15, and then by reading this, or again, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approximately what is the voltage that you read on here. So you can do this simulation yourself with any computer, and then you just change the number of loops to 1, then 2, and then 3, and then change the RPM to 30, and then to 60. And again, approximate what the voltage is and what's happening there. So that is lab 8, all right? And again, the qualitative questions you get from looking at what these scales are. Again, it's all approximate. The answers on the quiz, you should have no problem getting those. All right, so that's lab 8, and that will open sometime in early March. Okay.